Or should we wait 4 minutes? You're all here, right? So I think it's fine.
None of us is coming.
Right. What?
Has to come in still.
Right. I mean, people are maybe coming in. Anyway. All right. So my name is Malte Borg. I'm a Python Plone developer from Copenhagen, Denmark. I don't have any slides, but I do have these 2 orange papers with a lot of keywords on it. So I think we'll get by. This topic of through the web development, I think you have a mental picture of how it might not. But anyway, I think we all agree that this stuff, it came out of having this shrink wrap Plone product or even SOAP 2 product where we want to somehow customize or change its behavior somehow. But perhaps we should take a step back first and think that every time we do create a web, ask something, some form or an idea set and make it our own. About sort of it to I think so. The debate the web really different website and not function. It looks how, for instance, you might your app or and more about content than it is about developing the web. Let's see. So Plone is different to other things like Go. In that it's kind of like a product. And it has things because everything has to be a way to have software configured there, and then have some paste server that just combines these 2 things together and runs the software. That's not how it is. There's, on the outset, some application software, there's an application server, and then there's an empty ZODB. And you start it up, and you pretty much have to do things through the web to change this into, for instance, a Plone site. We all know that we can go to the Manage console and say, add new Plone site. And only then does it actually become a Plone website. It used to be an application server. So this makes it quite difficult to manage for people who want to use Plone as a platform, because it's a bit like managing a big school of 1,000 Windows computers. You suddenly have to start bootstrapping the whole system and develop some kind of very advanced deployment mechanism, because the only way to actually change the system, what you deliver in the system, is to wrap it up and start this sort of self-igniting process of creating a Plone site, branding it, installing add-on products, etc., etc. And I think that coming from a non-Windows world, this feels very cumbersome to many people. We'd rather just have our application here than say, this is the configuration, now run it. Okay, but anyway, that's not how it is. It's kind of like an operating system. So when I started out with Plone about 3 years ago, I would go in through the CMI. I would quickly find out that you could sort of search inside the portal skins for little snippets of HTML or identifiers that you had somehow, picked up. This might be the entry point of changing this or that on the website, and then you'd find a bunch of skin objects. It could be scripts or form controllers or even images. And then it'd be very easy to say customize and put it in your custom folder. I think you've all tried to do this. That story just kind of doesn't really hold, because you can't do everything through this scheme of customization. You can only find the things that are actually in the user interface behavior skin templates. Back in Plone 2, there was a lot of stuff in there. Now there's not so much stuff in there, but it's still true that you can only change the behavior so many ways through this skins approach, and it sort of tricks you into thinking that the way to make a Plone site is to go in there and sort of massage the system a little bit, change behavior, but you never really get the point of the entire system, how it works, you know? For instance, you can't make any classes in there. It's a restricted subset of Python, and there's no way to make new objects or new classes or new concepts inside the skins. So these are the limitations. But I mean, in many other applications, like in many of Microsoft's applications have scripting, they have Visual Basic. So it's not a foreign concept to have this ability to go into the system and use some kind of programming language to automate or to change behavior of an application. It's just that with Plone, it seems like it's the only way because of this bootstrapping process. You actually have to go in there somehow and change these things. Right, so another thing that someone mentioned to me is that this restricted Python is it's kind of like a story that you can't really, it also calls trusted Python. You can't really trust this Python for people who you do not trust, because you can make infinite loops, you can make memory errors, you can do all kinds of nasty things inside the trusted Python interpreter. So it's not really a clear advantage that you have this kind of like restricted Python that does not let you import a bunch of stuff, you can't make any classes. That's all good, but at the same time, it is a security hole in the sense that you can have a lot of denial of service problems using restricted Python. So it's still only actually for people within your organization that you do trust, that you can sort of let loose inside this safe haven of putting Python code inside the ZODB and sort of massaging the system from there. I'll argue anyway. Right, so also, whatever you do in there, there's hardly any validation. You go in there and you make your changes, and the system might work, the system might break. There's sort of like no guiding lines, because in the end, it's Python code, or it may be TAL templates. There's simply no way to ask the system, does this change make sense for me for the whole system? Does it integrate well throughout the various components of the site? You don't have this kind of safety. On the way here, I had this idea of an analogy to when you set up a spam filter in your Thunderbird or something. You have a bunch of rules, and you can click checkboxes to sort of add new rules, add behavior, change how the spam filter should pick up what's good, what's bad. But you play within a very well-defined rule set. You can't ever break Thunderbird. Maybe your spam filter is not going to work, but it certainly validates things because it gives you some kind of vocabulary. This is the space of changes possible. And through the web, SOAP 2 does not give you these limitations. They basically open this wealth of opportunities, and you can easily break things or do things in a bad way, something that might hurt you later. You can issue very expensive function calls, right? Okay, so then there is so basically you must install software to add new functionality to your site. Through the web is not going to be the only way. And then suddenly now we have two ways of doing things. We also have the file system where you can go and make your products or packages, and they can sort of add new classes, but in order for them to actually change things in your website, they have to go in and change the ZODB. Right, so the scope of these things is that everything must be bootstrapped or installed in the ZODB. If you set up, for instance, hang on, that's going to be later. Right, okay. So, for instance, also, the security settings in SOAP 2, they are also through the web, in the sense that you can actually alter all the roles and the permission mappings by going into wherever you are in your acquisition route. Sorry, let me just get some more water.
try and take a moment to